Her chest hurt, each breath a shallow gasp. Phone clutched in her hand, the screen's light reflecting in her tear-filled eyes. She wouldn't look back at the apartment building, wouldn't let him see her crumble. The January air, sharp and cold, couldn't cool the burning in her cheeks or the shame twisting in her gut. Stepping onto the sidewalk, each footfall echoed in the silence of the deserted street. Streetlights cast long, lonely shadows. Like her life felt dark, distorted. Rain, barely more than a mist, clung to her hair, plastered strands against her cheeks. She wished for a real downpour, something to wash away the mess he'd made of her heart. Pulling the hood of her oversized sweatshirt tighter, she walked. Away from him, away from the promises whispered and broken. With every step, the city seemed to close in around her, suffocating her with memories. Each storefront, each park bench, held a ghost of their laughter, their whispered secrets, their shared dreams. Now all that remained was the hollow echo of what they'd been, and the crushing weight of knowing she deserved better. The coffee shop. Their spot. Where he'd first told her he loved her. Now, just another brick facade, mocking her with its normalcy. She couldn't even remember the last time they'd laughed together, truly laughed. Their conversations lately, a battlefield of sharp words and bitter accusations. He'd promised to change, promised her forever. But forever had an expiration date apparently, one she hadn't been aware of. Her reflection, pale and drawn, stared back at her from the coffee shop window. A stranger she barely recognized. The park across the street stood cloaked in shadows. The playground equipment, deserted and forlorn, a grim reminder of their future that would never be. He'd wanted a family, a pack of kids, a dog, the whole white picket fence fantasy. She dared to believe him, let herself dream alongside him. Fool. A sob caught in her throat, choked by the tightness there. This wasn't how it was supposed to be. They were supposed to be building their happily ever after, not tearing down the foundation they'd worked so hard to create. And then she saw him, standing on the corner, his silhouette illuminated by the neon glow of the liquor store. Even from a distance she could see the tension in his shoulders, the way his hand shook as he lit a cigarette. He looked lost, broken. Part of her, the part that still loved him, ached to run to him, wrap him in her arms and tell him everything would be all right, to forgive him, to take him back and pretend this was all just a bad dream. But the other part, the stronger part, the part that had finally woken up, held her back. He hadn't